Welcome back to another Soflex Math lesson, and congratulations, those of you who've been with me from the start. We are now on Unit 5. So Unit 5 is dividing decimals. And today we're going to be working on decimals divided by whole numbers. So just like we did with the multiplying decimals, we'll work on all the different kinds where we have decimals as the divisor, whole numbers in this case as a divisor, whole numbers and decimals. So we'll work through all the different combinations that you might come across. So let's go ahead and dive right in here. So we have our first decimal is 0 and 2800ths divided by 7. Remember from our dividing whole number unit, so we have a couple things. This is our dividend, divisor, quotient. And when we divide with decimals, we're not going to have remainders. So we're just going to have decimals that either work out perfectly when we divide, so to divide into each one perfectly, or we'll add a 0 at the end to add some different place values. So let's take a look at our first one. So we're going to divide it just like normal. So the first rule is to take our decimal and we're just going to move it straight up. So it's going to be right there. Once we do that, now it's like it's not even there anymore. So like we moved it, so we're just going to pretend it's gone. So now we're just really dividing 7 into 28. So if we went through this step by step though, we do 0 into 7. I'm sorry, 0 into 7. How many 7s can go into 2? And then how many 7s can go into 28? And we get 4. So 0 and 2800ths divided by 7, the answer is 0 and 400ths. So kind of take a look. We'll do another one here to try to follow the pattern. So we're going to move our decimal straight up. 6 goes into 0, 0 times. 6 cannot go into 3. 6 can go into 36, 6 times. So what a lot of people, the biggest mistake I see with this is that people don't take this step. They just say, look at, all right, 6 into 0, I get that, and then the decimal, and then they do 6 into 36 and just put a 6. Well, you have to realize that we have to go place value by place value, so we need to have this 0 placeholder in both of those problems. So a lot of people just write 0 and 4/10 or 0 and 6/10. That's not true because of where the place values are. Because we're looking at 28, so we have to see where it ends. And remember, where it ends is where you put it right above. So this ends in 36, so the 6 goes above that. So we have to have 0, 6 and 0, 4. So let's go ahead and take a look at another example. All right, following the same way. So 0 and 6300ths divided by 9. Okay. So let's go ahead and put our decimal straight above. 9 goes into 0. 9 goes into 6. Still can't. 9 goes into 63. It can. So 0 and 6300ths divided by 9 equals 0 and 700ths. If you were to enter this into a calculator, remember you enter the inside number first and then divide it by the divisor. Because if you type in the calculator the opposite way, you're going to get a completely different answer. So when we multiply, remember, order doesn't matter. 3 times 4 is 12, or 4 times 3 is 12. Well, 0 and 6300ths divided by 9, and 9 divided by 0 and 6300ths are two completely separate problems with two completely separate answers. All right, next one, 0 and 2400ths divided by 4. Decimal moves straight up. 4 cannot go into 0, it cannot go into 2, but it can go into 24, and that's where we get our 6. All right, so these ones have all been nice and perfect. And what I mean by that is that they all end perfectly, like 6, they're all facts. Okay, so let's take a look if we have bigger numbers. So let's say we have more numbers, like maybe 3 or 4 that we're dividing by, instead of just ending with one fact. So here we have 0 and 912,000ths divided by 3. So we're still going to follow the same steps. Put your decimal up there, and we're still going to divide through. So 3 into 0. This time 3 can go into 9 3 times. So this time we're going to actually write it all out. The last ones were kind of mental math. So we bring down our next number. Now here's the thing. Pay attention closely. 3 cannot go into 1. So we need to have this 0 placeholder. and then bring down our next number. And then how many 3's can go into 12? 4. So the answer to this problem, 0 and 912 thousandths divided by 3, is 0 and 304 thousandths. Okay, and just like we did with our dividing whole numbers, you could definitely check your work. So you could you could multiply this answer, the quotient, 0 and 304 thousandths times 3, and you should get the answer right in here. Okay, so you can still check your work with multiplying. That is a perfectly great answer and way to check your work. So let us do one last example, and then we'll let you try a couple on your own. Okay, so for our final problem, we're going to divide it, and then we're going to check it with multiplying like we just talked about. So we're going to go ahead and put our decimal up. How many 4's can go into 0? 4's into 3, 0. 4's into 32, 8. So we can go ahead and multiply, subtract, compare, bring down. And then how many 4's can go into 8? 2. And 4 times 2 is 8. And we're always going to, if you do these correctly, you should either have an answer of 0 or a remainder of 0. Or if you do have a number, then you would have to bring down more numbers. But we're not going to work on that in this particular lesson. All right, so let's go ahead and now check our work. So we're going to write our answer, and we're going to multiply it by 4, and let's see what we get. So 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 0 is 0. 3 in the decimals. 3 in the decimals. And we did our problem correct because we have 0 and 328 thousandths, and that's what our dividend was, the inside number, 0 and 28 thousandths. So we kind of checked our own work. So as you go through the practice problems, feel free to check them with multiplying, then you can see if you got them right before you look at the answer key, and then you can see how you do. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer those. And we have a couple more lessons. We're going to work on some different types of still dividing decimals, but some different arrangements of decimals on the outside and what we have to do. There's special rules for that as well. Thanks for watching Soflex Math.